Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with Mike Barron. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good.
Yeah, this is my first live video of the new year. Did you have a good New Year's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. You go out partying? You out there?
No,
No. Did you make it to midnight?
no.
I feel obligated to. Mike and I were talking. I've been sick for the past couple of days, and now my wife is finally sick. We were like stayed up just like stubborn little kids just to be midnight. And they were like, okay, good night, Happy New Year, right to bed.
For 30 years, I never went to bed before 2 a.m. But in the last 30 years, I never went to bed after 10 p.m.
Yeah, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning for work. If I'm up till 9:45, I'm feeling sorry the next day. So there you go. So this is perfect time for me and Mike. Like we'll be nodding out in 25, 35 minutes. So so anyway, how's it going? It feels like I've been talking to you a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is that Mike asked me the other day if he could come on and talk about his campaign. It's closing tomorrow morning or Friday morning. I forget the time.
It's closing tomorrow. Tomorrow
Okay.
at 6 p.m. On Indiegogo. And of course, it's Sherlock Holmes meets Captain Nemo.
Yeah. Two of my favorite literary characters. So you better I back this immediately. We talked at length about Captain Nemo, how I'm fascinated with Captain Nemo as a character. It's Sherlock Holmes. Geez, I mean, I haven't read any actual Sherlock Holmes book, but it's like you can't not know about him. Like you absorb him through osmosis in this culture.
Well, he's the most popular fictional character in history.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. Who do you think would be close to him? The next most popular.
Tarzan.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. You see all of these characters going into public domain. What is your thoughts as a writer? You're gonna take like Tarzan, Popeye as serial killers, like everybody seems to be doing?
No, that wouldn't go over well because the reason these characters are popular is because of their personalities and their personas. Tarzan and Sherlock Holmes are both good. Now, I suppose there's some sick bastard somewhere who would like to do Tarzan as a serial killer, and there might be some perverse audience for that, but it's not going to be very big.
I tell you, every time, like this now, Popeye's public domain, and I'm like, there's gonna be some guy, low effort writer, is gonna make some shocking and it's like, grow up, dude. Just grow up. I grew up loving Popeye, and I don't want to see some twisted take. I don't want to see the Homelander, which is just a twisted take on Superman. You know what I mean? I love make up new stuff, guys. I like old characters. Don't get me wrong, but public domain, I don't want to mess with them. I don't want to mess with them. I just want to address everybody in the chat. First off, my comic is still available. Fund my comic, Heroic Tales #1. Sooner rather than later, I'll be launching the campaign for issue 2. I'll be purposely vague.
What is the name of the comic, John? Show the cover.
Oh, okay. I should have you as a wingman all the time. Yeah, Mike Barron, John Longbox with Mike Barron as my sidekick. How's that?
Great.
But here we go. Here's the page. It's on Fund My Comic. Here's the Renzo Rodriguez cover. I love Renzo's. It's like classic superhero. I just love it. And then Mike, you might be interested. This is what I sent you. Pat Broderick, your buddy. He did a cover for me. I love that. I just, what's that called? Stippling or stenciling the little dot lines. I love that.
He is a very detailed artist, and his inking is incredible.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's finished the first half of the next Bronze Star book.
Oh, nice. That is, and I updated this page. Michael T. Gilbert. Are you familiar with Michael T. Gilbert, Mr. Monster?
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, he did this cover for me too. He wanted to make it more humorous. So, he saw that the robot ants were a thing, so he had a picnic, with his kid. I think that's funny. And then over here, Mike, you familiar with Mike Gustovich?
Of course.
Yeah, Mike Gustavich's Justice Machine. So I went a little nuts and got some legendary guys to do some covers for me. All available on Fund My Comic. So that's going to be my home going forward for now on. And like I said, I got some T-shirts, I got pint glasses, I got a lot of swag over there.
Zacton said Frankenstein is in a lot of adaptations as well as Hyde, and it's funny he should mention Frankenstein because I'll show you if I can do it. On tab here.
I was just going to ask a silly question. Of course, you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a page turner. Out of all of those classic horrors, that was my favorite.
Wait a minute.
Sure.
Oh,
okay. And then somebody named Mike Barron says, "Funny, you should mention Frankenstein." Marcus Kelligrew says, "Wait, serial killer Popeye is my next project."
Well, I'm trying to share here. Let's
Katie did says, "Happy New Year, John and Mike. Thank you." And I just realized I skipped a whole bunch of people. We got my buddy Yan Zhao. I always have difficulty saying my buddy's name. How you doing? Pradar says, "What's up?" And Zactan, "Where would I be without my daily blessing?" by Zactan. Ernest. Fabrizio Aiello, who does one of my favorite comics, Horace H. Hoover. It's Horace H. Hoover.com. Marcus, if you could put the link to Horace H. Hoover in the chat, that would be awesome. It's up to issue 3, and they're all available. Eric the Guapo. Partying is a young man's game. I remember, like, if it was like 2 weeks before Christmas and I didn't know who was having the New Year's party, I was stressing out. Like, am I not invited? What's going on? Why is there not a New Year? Now, it's the exact opposite. If I find out about a New Year's party, I'm like, how do I get out of it? What do I got to do? This year, it was easy. Just have 102 fever, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody wants you to come over, especially these days. And my buddy who was having the party just had like open heart surgery, so he's like, "Yeah, don't come over." Crenshaw, hey gang, how you doing? Emily Kruger says, "Hail." And I'll bring up, there we go. And Mike, here's the link to Leviathan. It's at, you want me to bring this up?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't know if you, I brought it up.
No, I've been trying to share this picture.
Okay, just put it there.
I'm not able to. My skills are not that good.
No, what you did was right, and then I have to bring it up. It's like a safety mechanism, so like my guest doesn't bring up porn or something.
Oh, all right. Well then.
So you were doing fine. I just saw it coming on and coming off again, so I was filibustering.
All right. Would you show that?
Sure. Just present the screen. It's not there now.
Hang on a second. I'll get it back.
You got to go to present, share screen.
Right. Got it.
And then once it shows up, I hit.
There it is. You see it?
So this is what's coming up. You know what I mean? It's like a safeguard measure so that the guests can't just throw whatever they want on the screen. So what are we looking at? We're looking at Frankenstein over here.
That's right. The monster is out of the bag.
Nice. Was this a stretch goal that we hit, or was this always part of the story?
I didn't want to reveal it because I wanted people to read the book and then come to this page and say, "Holy shit." But then I realized if more people understood who was a guest star in the book, and he plays a very important role, then they would be more interested in the book.
Yeah, this is getting, like, again, you had me at Captain Nemo. So like you didn't even need Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes is just like icing on the cake. And then what is better than icing on the cake? What, I guess a nice glass of wine too with the cake. I don't know. What would Frankenstein be? Just added.
He's not the only guest star. He's the most surprising and important one. And when you read this story, you'll understand.
And I read the books. I see that there's an iceberg behind him, so I'm forming plot points in my mind that I will not spoil, which are probably wrong anyway.
Well, no, I don't. You can't guess the story because I figured it out as I went along. But certain elements were given, and one of them is that they're going to ride the Nautilus, and they're in a race against a madman that's hired by Tsar Nicholas of Russia to ignite a world war. And the madman is headed towards the Far East to bomb Japan and blame it on China, and that will get the war going. So the Nautilus has to beat this guy to the Far East, but the madman has an airship. And Holmes says, well, how can you possibly beat him to the Far East? And he says, we can do it by crossing under the North Pole.
Now, at the time, did they believe that the North Pole was ice? Like, did they know that it was just frozen ice? Did they know that you could sail underneath it, or was
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Again, I love Captain Nemo, and we talked about Captain Nemo a few times since you've been on my channel a few times. But Captain Nemo, he was an anti-imperialist, anti-war guy. You know, he
Oh yeah.
So this
and
is
that's
like
important. That's important to the plot.
Right. Like, again, the David Niven movie portrayed him accurately, but that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie,
You know, I saw it once years ago.
yeah, I saw it in a movie theater, and that was not Captain Nemo. That
No.
you know, Captain Nemo is an Indian prince who lost everything due to war, and because of that, just went nuts. And he's sinking warships, and he's taking prisoners, and he's like, but at the same time, he's delivering supplies and stuff to refugees, and you know, he's a very complicated. Like, everybody thinks they know the character, but I just read the book. He's a very interesting character. I like him. Have you read The Mysterious Island? I know we talked about that.
No, I haven't. I did read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and there's a lot of Nemo's character revealed in the story, as there is about Holmes.
Yeah. I'm digging this. I can't wait. When do you think you're going to be releasing? You know, when's the book going to be fulfilled?
We're going to ship in March.
Oh, okay. So see, you're pretty much done then.
Oh, the whole book is completely illustrated. It's being colored and lettered right now.
Oh, okay. That's good. There you go, everybody. Because
every book we crowdfund is finished before the campaign is done.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. You know, I'm trying to get closer and closer to the finish line before I even launch the campaigns. It's just, I think it's the fairest, and it's the best way to deal with unforeseen circumstances, like passing out and crashing into a tree and breaking your neck and stuff like that, you know.
All right. I want to show the video. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure. You just got to stop there. Just bring up the window that you want, and then I'll add it to the screen.
All right. There we are.
Marcus Kelgrew says, my dad used to look a bit like Tsar Nicholas. Is your dad Russian? Okay. You're in control of this now.
All right.
So I'm just going to make it big so you're not going to see our face.
Okay.
And hit that little square.
When a series of shipping disasters points to a mysterious sea monster, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson leave the comfort of Baker Street and board a freighter where they encounter unexpected betrayal and come face to face with the enigmatic Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus. As they delve deeper into the case, they uncover a conspiracy involving a Russian Tsar with an airship that rains destruction on unsuspecting cities. With time running out and the world on the brink of war, the heroes must use all their skills and resources to stop a massive conspiracy and prevent global conflict. From Eisner-winning writer Mike Barron and illustrator Richard Bonk, dive into the depths of adventure and unravel the mysteries of the sea with the world's greatest detective in Leviathan. Order now on Indiegogo.
Gosh.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Thanks, John.
I said this before. Every time I see that trailer, I love the colors. Who's doing the coloring?
Rob Epps is our colorist.
It just looks so good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yang Zhao says this looks fun. I didn't know it was funding. Well, good thing you're here. Good thing
Yes.
you're here. You got a couple of hours left, Yang. And Oscar says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Oscar. Oscar is a phenomenal colorist. If you're ever looking for a colorist, phenomenal.
Oscar, if you're on X, follow me and I'll follow you back. I'm at Bloody Red Baron on X.
Oscar is super professional, super fast, and talk about a guy who knows comic books. I talk about comic books all the time, and then Oscar like pulls me aside and goes, actually, it's this. You know, he's a nerd's nerd. We got
a nerd's nerd.
Yeah. You know what? One question I've always wanted to ask you, but I always shied away from asking you. But I know, you know, with Marvel and DC and everything like that, there's problems. But like, what would a Mike Baron Fantastic Four story look like?
I have no idea. I got to tell you, John, that I would much rather write my own characters than anybody else's. Sherlock Holmes is an exception. I've been a Sherlock Holmes fan since I was a wee child. There were a couple of other characters I would write. And the reason is I think I could do a much better job than they've been used to. One of them is Master of Kung Fu. I'd like to write that title.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Is it fair to say that you have a more like grounded character? Like, you know, you're famous for the Punisher, guys like Badger. You know, I don't really see, well, and then there's Nexus. That's completely in the other extreme. So I guess I'm talking out of my butt here. I just realized as I was
Well, it depends. No, you're right. I do prefer to write about the world in which we live. I really do. Nexus is an exception. It's a science fiction superhero that takes place 500 years in the future. But anybody who reads it knows it's a very serious book. And by that, I don't mean somber or boring. It's probably the most wildly entertaining book you'll ever read. And all you have to do is just Google reviews of it. We have a bunch more Nexus in the works, believe me. And I try to use real science in that. For one thing, I discuss the difficulty of traveling interstellar distances and solutions to that, one of which is called the Iron Sun, or traveling through singularities. But it has to be done with mathematical precision or your ship will be torn apart. And that's an important part of the story sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I'm thinking, oh, Mike Baron, grounded start. And then I'm like, wait a minute. My favorite thing, not to insult anything that you're right, but Nexus is hands down my favorite thing that you're right. I reread it every couple of years. It's still shocking how much like there's so much going on that's like, oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I just picked this up for the first time. It's such a good comic.
Well, thank you.
And Oscar over here is a fan of the Badger. Any new Badger stories coming out?
Yep. I got a big graphic novel in the works. I hope that the artist who offered to do it can still do it. I'd love to tell you who it is. But he's taken on a lot of work. But on the other hand, he's incredibly prolific and fast. So we'll see. In any case, we will get it done.
Yeah, Logic Finest, you already answered his question, but he wants to know, have you ever written any sci-fi? And would you do? Yes. And then we talked about Nexus. Nexus is like a sci-fi superhero. Would it, in the vein of like Warlock, Jim Starlin's Warlock?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I did write a science fiction novel. It's called Whack Job.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep talking. Whack Job. I never
That's
heard.
it.
I never heard of this. I heard about your motorcycle novels.
Well, there are 10 biker novels, and I'm working on the 11th now. I'm very excited about that.
I never heard of Whack. What is it? It's straight out sci-fi, or is this like
it's about spontaneous human combustion?
Of course it is. There you go. Not color me interested. Yeah. Logic Finds says sci-fi is my favorite genre of novels. I'll check out Nexus. Yeah, you won't be disappointed. I love Nexus. It's so good. It's so good. Badger and everything is so different. Badger is completely different than Nexus, which is completely different than your Punisher run, which is, you know, I can't wait to see what you're going to do with Sherlock Holmes. And my favorite character of all time is Captain Emo. You know, like I said, I got Odin, Captain Nemo, Captain Kirk, Superman, and Ben Grimm. Those are my 5 favorite fictional characters of all time.
John, yeah, there it is. That's the biker novels to date, and I'm adding to them. Anybody, if you just read one, you're going to be hooked. You're going to have to read them all.
Are these set in the real world? Nothing supernatural?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So I could sit and read these with Levon Cade, get Chuck Dixon's Levon Cade
Well,
novel.
it's funny that you mentioned that, John, because Levon Cade co-stars in the final book, The Seventh Son.
Really? I didn't know that. I just know that Chuck has a series of novels about, like a regular.
Yeah, and his movie's about to come out.
Right. I'm rooting for him, man. I'm so psyched about that. And he's so nonchalant about it. Like, you ask him questions about it. It's like, I don't go to the set. I don't want to bother. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, everybody else would be like, come on, man. Let's go. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to leave his house. He's happy. Any new is biker being picked up or anything?
It's been optioned. And
Oh,
keep your fingers crossed. People are interested in my properties. I haven't sold any yet. I would love to. Yes, Yang, they are available as audibles. I think all my novels are available as audibles. I know the Florida Man novels are, and certainly all of the Wolfpack publications. Wolfpack publishes Levon Cade and my biker novels. They're a great publisher, and they do a good job. And I think they have a policy of offering all the books as audibles, so you can listen in your car while you're driving. I would never do that because I like to listen to music.
Oh yeah. You're a big jazz fan, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of intimidated by jazz.
Okay, if you like jazz but you don't know where to start, the record you want is "Kind of Blue" by Miles Davis.
Oh, I got Miles Davis.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. My buddy was a student film maker in college, and we made a Chet Baker film, and I was the guy who beat up Chet Baker in a bar or something like that. That was my role. That's my claim to fame.
Did you see Born to Be Blue?
No.
That's the Chet Baker story.
Oh.
And the guy that plays him looks just like him.
My buddy looks like Chet Baker. That's why he made the movie. And I'm such a bad friend. I was like, this is a bad idea for a movie. This movie's going to be, and it brought a tear to your eye. It was so good.
Ethan Hawke plays Chet Baker. He looks just like him. You got to see it. It's terrific. Okay. It's depressing though.
Sometimes a good depressing movie makes you feel good. Is that a weird thing to say? Like it gets your emotions out?
Well, if it enthralls you and entertains you,
right? Yeah, it makes you feel something.
Be depressing, and it can, it can do both those things. Entertainment is so many things. One of my other favorite jazz movies is Miles Ahead, starring and directed by Don Cheadle. And it's unexpectedly funny because it's this period where Miles was snorting cocaine up by the court, and he was just out of his mind, and he's fighting to recover these tapes that that his producer stole from him and plans to release without his approval, and they're racing all over Manhattan, and Miles is pulling a gun and shooting at people. It's crazy stuff, but it's based on the truth. I mean, that really happened.
Did you see the like A Complete Unknown that's out right now?
Not yet.
Story.
Not yet. I will.
Yeah, I got guys at work that know I like music, so they're like, oh, did you see us? The theaters are not doing themselves any good. I didn't know the movie was released. I didn't know that this Dracula movie Nosferatu was released. It's like, how are movies making any money when I'm a guy who looks for stuff like this and I can't even find it.
Well, we're in a seismic tech shift here. The thing is that the rise of home streaming and enormous home flat screen TVs obviates the need to go to a theater. And why would you want to go to a theater and pay $11 to see a movie and have some kid kick in the back of your seat or smell somebody's pizza that they smuggled in when you can watch it in the comfort of your own home? And I understand that. The other thing is that the theaters have been turning out shit for the last 5 or 10 years. They're good movies. If you look for them, But Sturgeon's law applies here as well. Theodore Sturgeon's a great science fiction writer. Sturgeon's law is 90% of everything is crap. And he's right. I mean,
Yeah.
90% of the movies they release are shit. The other 10% are worth watching.
Yeah, I still love going to the movie theater. Unfortunately, there's not much worth going to see. It's just me and my wife. We don't have kids, so like we make a date out of it. We go to the movies. Get some.
Well, I would certainly go to see A Complete Unknown. If I get somebody to go with me. Anne doesn't like movies. My wife. It's a good thing she likes music because we go out all summer long to hear music. I love movies. The last movie I saw in a theater was The Bike Riders, which was this past summer, which is a great movie. It stars Tom Hardy as the leader of a cycle gang in the 50s when they were just getting started. It was like the first cycle gang. It's based on a true story. And I'm happy to see Tom Hardy in a serious role. I love Tom Hardy, and I think it's great that he gets a big payday by playing Venom or whatever. But I prefer to see him in a serious role.
Well, isn't that what they say? The actors, one movie for Hollywood, one movie for me.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, can't blame them. You can't blame them. It's hard to say no to a $25 million paycheck to do anything.
Sure is.
Yeah. Are you a biker? Do you ride a bike? Motorcycle guy?
I'm a lifelong biker. I got my first motorcycle when I was 16. There's one in the garage right now. Ann is trying to get me to sell it, and I'm thinking about it because I'm old now. I'm having trouble with my legs. So I probably will, but I've been riding for 50 years.
Have you ever gotten in an accident, hurt, go down?
Yeah, I have had a couple of scrapes. The worst was when we were out on this lone Nebraska highway, and my buddy Tom was riding right behind me, and this this van was trying to pass, and so I slowed down to let her pass, and Tom was so close behind me, he clipped me, and I went down right there and hit my head on the pavement. This is like 60 miles an hour. Thank God I was wearing a helmet, or I would have been killed, and I had a concussion, and I came to just for a minute to see the van slow down and think about offering help and then speed away.
I feel there's like a window if like you said 16, if like 16 to 22, if you don't get on a bike, don't. Like I missed that window, and I never. But my brother's a biker. My brother runs a bike group. You know what I mean?
Where's he live?
Right here in New York.
New York, Jesus! I would not ride a bike in not in Manhattan or
no.
anywhere in New York City.
They ride their bikes to work. Because every job, every construction site, we're all family of construction workers. You can't drive a car.
Sure.
But they always have spots for bikes. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
And my brother, it doesn't matter how cold it was, how rainy it was, he was always driving because he wanted to get that park right on the job site. But he but even now he's got grandkids. He's not. I don't think he rides as much as he used to. But they did that whole Sturgis run millions of times. And then my little brother, he would follow in like a van. They would all put their backpacks and all this.
That's right.
With cases full of beers. And he's.
I went to Sturgis once in 2020, and I rode up.
Did you see a big guy looks like me?
I saw a lot of big guys look like
he looks like me, but 3 feet taller. My brother got all the height in the family. Talk about Frankenstein.
I rode a Harley Road King, and we saw Cher get booed off the stage at the Buffalo Chip.
Yeah, she came out and started talking politics, right? Like it doesn't even matter what the politics is.
You're exactly right. I mean, she was there to give away a motorcycle in a raffle because she was in that movie. What was the name of that movie?
Mask.
Which?
Mask. They were bikers in Mask. Yeah.
So she says, but before I give away this bike, I want to talk about my good friend Bill Clinton. 30,000 bikers. Woo!
I think they would have booed. Doesn't matter who she brought up. We came here to drink beer check out tattooed girls, you know. And,
No, she said, I want to talk about my good friend Bob Dylan. They would have loved it, you know?
right. Well, that's not politics. That's rock and roll.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
music.
yeah. You don't want to wave your politics in front of
Right.
30,000 bikers.
Right. Michael, John Cougar Mellencamp, shut up and sing the song.
I know. I was so disappointed in him when he did that because I love his music, especially
Yeah.
Scarecrow, which is a masterpiece.
I'm one of 7, and I think everybody in my family loves Bruce Springsteen.
Not me.
I always been like, if everybody has to like, oh, John, you got to like something, I instantly don't like it. So I never liked Bruce Springsteen. So I'm not too disappointed now that everybody's turning on him.
Well, he did a couple of good songs when he started out, but then he got morose and political, and it was just, I like music that's upbeat and, well, not necessarily upbeat and happy, but music that's got a beat to it and a bridge and a hook. I live for those bridges and hooks. All right, Logic rides a BMW. Yeah, that's a nice bike.
I only ride fast at the track. Never too old for a crotch rock. I'm too old for a crotch rock.
I used to have crotch rockets.
I know my limitations, guys. I crashed a Geo. I crashed a Ford Fiesta. There's no way I'm getting on a motorcycle, guys. I saw Bruce less. Fine, no politics.
Glad to hear it, Marcus. Glad to hear it. Maybe he wised up.
Just like comic book people, there's comic book creator whose politics are like. I will say this right now. I'm reading Aerosmith by Kurt Busiek. I'm loving this. I can't wait to read the next issue. I read it last night.
What's it called?
It's called Aerosmith.
Who's the publisher?
This is Image Comics.
Uh-huh.
It's like an alternate Earth.
Maybe I'll check that out.
It's set like the Prussian Wars, but instead of they use wands and magicians and like this troll vampire. It's right up my alley.
Well, Kurt's a good writer.
Kurt is an amazing writer. Me and him couldn't be more different in politics, but I will always say this. He blocked me on Blue Sky. He blocked me on Twitter. But you know what? I still find his politics. I mean, I still find his comics to be some of the best comics ever written.
No,
but you know what? It's not in here. It's not in here. It's just a good comic.
That's right.
And that's all I ask.
He's smart.
Yeah, he's smart. He wants to sell some comics. And there's our buddy Mark Wade, who just can't seem to keep his mouth shut. Marcus, I clicked on the wrong thing. But anyway, Aerosmith is fantastic. Shame Carlos Pacheco died. Yeah. Carlos Pacheco's art in this is outstanding. Yeah. I forgot that he died. Blue Sky is for kitty cats. I tell you, man, I click on Blue Sky every once in a while because I'm trying to connect with other comic creators, see if they want to come on my channel. And it's like, it is excruciating. More than 5 minutes, and I feel like I have to cleanse myself. I'm from New York, and I really like that Ashbury Park sound. Unfortunately, Southside Johnny just retired. Southside Johnny, I grew up in Nassau County, and then spent a lot of time in Queens, worked Manhattan in the 5 boroughs. It seemed like every time he turned around, Southside Johnny was performing. So I was like,
I saw him once.
I was like,
Madison.
Same with the Ramones. You know how many times I was like, I'm going to see this band instead of the Ramones. The Ramones will be here forever. And then they all died, and I never got to see them. I got to hang out with them and meet them, but I never saw them
cool.
before.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I saw the Buzzcocks.
Oh, are you into punk?
I'm not into punk. I'm into power pop. And Buzzcocks can call themselves punk if they like, but they're really power pop.
Right. Oh my! They are the catchiest. Catchiest. I love the Buzzcocks. Oh, it's funny that you said that. I out of all of the old punk bands, they're the ones I still find myself playing over and over because you're right. It's they're catchy. It's like sugar. It's so good.
Well, you make that comparison to sugar, and I've been writing about music for 50 years. And when I began, I vowed I would use no food comparisons, and I kept to that. But the secret of power pop, and what is power pop? Well, let me just mention the premier practitioners, which are the Beatles, the Byrds, the Beach Boys, Big Star, Paul Collins, Jellyfish. bands with a driving rhythm, and most importantly, a bridge and a hook. Well, what is a bridge and a hook? A bridge is a chord you introduce that's at odds with the main chord, which creates a tension, which can only be resolved by the hook, which resolves that tension and provides a kind of emotional release. You hear it in the blues, which is based on the first, fourth, and fifth chords. Da 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 da. You hear that fifth chord coming in there. Now that's not the same as power pop. When a lot of music is based on first, fourth, and fifth chords, but a lot of power pop isn't. It's based on totally original chords and unexpected changes that are sweet. Also, harmonies are very important. That's why the Beach Boys are one of the archetypal power pop bands, especially in their middle period. Pet Sounds and Good Vibrations, I think, is a masterpiece.
That's great. That's my favorite of the Beach Boys. It's funny that you mentioned the Beach Boys. I just had a big, long talk at work with the guy talking about Brian Wilson's kind of had a major freak out when Sgt. Pepper's came out. And then he heard Jimi Hendrix in Third Stone from the Sun say, "You'll never listen to beach music again." And he went and recorded, what was it, Smiley Smile, that unreleased album. Have you heard that album?
Yes, in fact, I have the re-record he did about a decade ago, which is fantastic. I saw Hendrix perform. Hendrix was a truly great guitarist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never seen the Beach Boys. I wish I had. I've seen a lot of great power pop bands, though.
I saw the Beach Boys, when they were, an oldies band, you know what I mean? With Katrina and the Waves. How's that for dating myself?
Right. But there are new bands that are more exciting than ever. And one of them, which starts where the Beach Boys leave off, is called Explorers Club. And I would advise you all to check out Explorers Club. If you like great pop rock, it'll blow your mind.
Explorers Club. Okay, I'll check it out. I'm always looking for new music. For a while, I'd say maybe up to about 7 years ago, I was like done with music and I was only listening to stuff I only listened to already. And I remember when I was a kid, I said, that's when you're an old man, when you decide that you're done with music and you're just going to listen to stuff you already listened to.
Well, I got to say that I'm still listening to new music, and every year I say it, and every year it's true. This has been one of the greatest years for pop rock in history. You just would never know it reading the so-called music press or watching the so-called awards shows, because all these bands are doing it for the love of their music. They're not doing it for big labels. They produce their own CDs, and you have to know where to look. Well, one of the places you look is called Power Popaholic. PowerPopaholic.com. That guy, Aaron Kupferberg, he's got the best ear for music I've ever heard. And he reviews all the new releases. Some of the releases this year have blown my mind.
Wow.
Ransom and the Subset, Joy Buzzer, Orbis Max. These are some of the bands I've heard that if you heard them, you'd say, holy shit, that is fucking great. Where do I get that record?
That's great that you said that. Now, would you say it's like the same with comic books? I've been getting some great comic books, but the mainstream press, the big two, the whatever. I hate to throw the comic book stores under the bus. They're just doing whatever they can to stay alive.
No.
You know what I mean? But you really have to get up and do a lot of research to find good comics, and you have to get up and do a lot of research to find good music. What's going on that it used to be all these great comic books were thrown at you, all these great movies were thrown at you?
I don't think they're all that great, John. I remember buying a lot of books because I love the art, including Master of Kung Fu, Conan the Barbarian, Swamp Thing. And I have to say the Conan books by Barry Smith were very good because Roy Thomas based them on Robert E. Howard's stories. And when you do that, you have a much better story. But a lot of those books with great art by Neil Adams, so many great artists. I can't even name them all. But the art was always better than the story. Always. There are very few exceptions.
Well, a comic book, it doesn't matter how great the writing is. If the art is bad, it doesn't sell.
That's right. It's a visual medium. Yeah. And I collected a lot of those comics because of the art. I love Paul Gulacy's art, but even then I knew what they were showing had nothing to do with martial arts.
Right? All Paul Gulacy has to do is just put a woman on the cover, and I'm buying that comic.
Well, when Paul was just hitting his peak, which I think happened around Master of Kung Fu number 29, which he penciled and inked, he was the rightful heir to Steranko because he nailed that style and took it a step further. And there's always a guy like that takes a style and takes it a step further, like Wally Wood. For him, it was Rand Holmes. Rand Holmes was an underground cartoonist from Canada. He's dead now, unfortunately. But his art took the Wally Wood style one step further. Absolute genius.
Oh, Rand Holmes is. I gotta check him out. What does he have anything that he's famous for? I never heard of him.
No, he published mostly underground stories. I wrote a couple of them, and they were published by Kitchen Sink. There's a big Rand Holmes book out. It's by the people that do the Comics Journal. I think the Comics Journal is the publisher, and it's worth getting because his art will blow your mind.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to look him up. You know, a great comic book artist that I never heard of. Of course, I got to check him out. So what do you think is going on? Like, did the internet just kill like they used to be like an American culture? Like we all watched Back to the Future. Everybody in America saw that movie. Now, like guys at work are talking about like, oh yeah, I got this streaming channel, and they're talking about a great TV show that I want to watch that I never heard of, and then this guy's talking about another streaming channel with a great show that I never heard.
Well, just remember that that's 10% of the shows that are great, and the rest are crap.
Right.
But
none of them are talking about the Kardashians, Mike.
the internet has upended everything. As I said, we have a whole generation of kids who don't read. They grew up playing video games.
You're not even joking. It's really bad.
I know.
You know, I got guys at work who like brag that they've never read a book. Yeah, you know, like they're 30 years old or whatever. Like, you know, the 40-year-olds are like, yeah, I read a book for school. But like even the 30, like, nah, I faked it in school and I never read, you know. Yeah, Fantagraphics has got some good stuff.
That's the publisher. Fantagraphics put out the Rand Holmes book. If you want to hang on a second, I'll show it to you.
Sure, of course. Yang, oh, I scared Mike away. Yang says, I can't believe there's a comic stream I need to take notes on. Yeah, I feel that every time Mike comes on. I literally write stuff down. Last time he was on, he was telling me about there's a shared universe of all these like Victorian characters, and I wrote it down and I put it in a stack, and now I can't find the notes, so I'm gonna have to write it down a second time. If anybody was listening the last time, well, I'll ask Mike when he comes back. But I'm gonna filibuster now. Anybody got any questions for Mike Barron? As I show you, my wife made delicious lasagna that I'm only halfway through. Yes, we have lost the community of everybody watching the same shows. Well, yeah, the water cooler. Like Seinfeld was the last time.
You know, it probably would have been easier to just bring this up on Amazon.
Rand Holmes. Okay, the artist himself. Okay, I got to check that out. And last time you were on, you were telling me about the shared universe.
The Wold Newton universe that Philip Jose Farmer created.
Right. Yeah, I wrote that down. I put it, like I said, somebody was saying this. I can't believe there's a comic stream I need to take notes on. Yes, Mike is very informative, and I do take notes. And I put the notes over here, and it went next to my Sergeant Fury Howling Commandos #1. It disappeared into the void, so I have to retake these notes. It's kids growing up. What? That is something I'll never understand. This Saturday, I'm going to my brother's house. It's going to be the first time my entire family's together in almost 3 years. There's 7 kids. They all have kids. It's going to be, and what we're going to do, we're going to watch other kids play video games on YouTube. That I guarantee you. I'm going to be steaming. I'm going to bring board games, stuff like that. We're going to watch kids play computer games on TV.
Okay, here's the book. Share that on the StreamYard. That's it.
Rand Holmes. This is by Fantagraphics?
Yes.
Cool. The artist himself, a Rand Holmes retrospective. Okay, cool.
I think it's Fantagraphics.
Yeah, it says it right there.
All right. And yeah, when you look at this, if you like Wally Wood, your head's going to explode.
Okay. I don't need my head anymore.
No. All right. And you know what?
What's that? Oh, you're fading?
Yeah.
Mike, like myself, is an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. So, anything you want to talk about before you want to disappear? Oh,
Oh,
obviously,
I think I've said too much already,
you
John.
didn't say enough. I could have talked to you for another 2 hours, but
Well,
I
we'll do this
understand.
again. We'll do this again.
Whenever you want, Mike. All you got to do is ask. But
Thank you, sir.
everybody, remember on Indiegogo, Leviathans, it's available till 6:00 in the morning tomorrow morning. Am I correct?
Let me see here.
Well, at either rate, get it now. Get
Yeah,
it now.
if,
Don't
yeah, if you go
sleep
to
on it.
baroncomics.com, it'll lead you to all the campaigns.
MikeBaron.net. Say that again. We'll put it.
baroncomics.com. baroncomics.com.
There you go, everybody. baroncomics.com. Get. It'll lead you to all the links. Are you only on Indiegogo, or are you also on Kickstarter?
We're on Kickstarter and Fund My Comic.
Oh, okay. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yep, baroncomics.com. And check it out. And it's like you said, it's already done. So that minimizes the risk. We all know that's been causing problems. But you go to bed, Mike.
Good night, fellas.
finish lasagna and go to bed myself.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Oh, Mike's already gone. He's that sleepy. But I guess I'll go too. I might as well tell you tomorrow is Thursday. I do not have any guests scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm probably going to do a live What You're Reading. I got a big old sack. I've been homesick, so I've been reading a lot of comics. Friday, at 8:00, I'm going to do It's Clobbering Time. We're going to do The Punisher versus the Horseman. Marcus and myself haven't read The Horseman yet, but we have a couple of people who volunteered who are big fans of Ripper Comics to talk about The Horseman, and we'll talk about that. Tomorrow is Friday. Today is Thursday. Oh, geez, when you have a day off in the middle of the week, everything's messed up. So tomorrow is the Horseman. Thank you, everybody. You got lasagna too? All right, Oscar, we'll have a clobbering time of who has better lasagna. Tomorrow is Friday. Thank God tomorrow's Friday. I've been sick all week. I have like no energy. I'm surprised that I made it this far. So, as always, tomorrow, It's Clobbering Time is an open invite, meaning anybody could join in, anybody could talk. Anybody could, keep it respectful. It's all in good fun. We're not here to trash anybody or anything like that. We're here to Spider-Man can beat up the Green Lantern, kind of stuff. And Saturday, I don't know what I have if I'm going to do anything. And then Sunday, it's going to be Sunday Comics. I'm going to do Wolf and Batsy. I haven't picked the exact issue yet for Wolf and Batsy, but I want to look through because there's one particular issue I'd like to talk about. Brian said, pick the one that you thought was the meanest. So there you go. I'm going to pick the meanest issue of Wolf and Batsy. And then on Sundays, usually I announce everything scheduled. But if you have a comic, or if you don't have a comic, if you're a comic fan, you're just a comic person and you want to come on and talk comics, just have a camera, no avatars, and we'll talk comics. I'm openly asking for people because I haven't really been putting out the word, so I need to fill slots. Fans, pros, anybody, come on in. We'll talk comics. All right, but I'm gonna go. Thanks a lot, everybody. It's been fun. Thanks a lot, Mike, for coming. Bye-bye.